This is Garim, and of course I am ignoring reality. Welcome to Game News Bites. Only good information, all duds removed. XCOM 2 Character Biography Contest. I want to start this out by saying thank you. I have received dozens of submissions. You guys are awesome. And some of these stories really, guys, are just blowing me away. I am only really thankful that I don't have to just pick one. Now let's get on to the actual story here. What I've done is I've picked one story for this video that I really like, but I'm going to end this video with a really cool idea. Someone sent in a story that just grabbed me. So let's read this one and then we'll jump to that one next. So, once I get down to this one, don't leave me just yet. My name is Yumi Wehunt. My parents were part of the First War, but from what I hear it was mostly my mother, Ashley Wehunt. She was on the front line with a shotgun in hand and a scowl on her face. My father was a stay-at-home dad, but from what I hear he was pretty good with a wrench. I was only 2 years old when the earth gave in, and that was the last anyone heard from my mother. She was stationed at the main base when... Sorry, this is a difficult subject. Long story short, she didn't make it. I like to think she at least gave as good as she got before those E.T. freaks finally got her. The next portion of my life, my father moved us around a lot. You see, anyone remotely related to XCOM Project had a target on their back, and Dad, however brief, worked for them. We laid low in shanty towns, quarantine zones, anywhere we can hide out. It wasn't so bad. We had to learn how to kill without making sound. Otherwise, we risked drawing attention to ourselves. Got pretty good with a bow, but my real passion was the sword my dad kept. It was a replica of a Roman short sword, but he loved this thing. Said it was the best, the last present Mom ever gave him. When I was 16, he gave it to me, saying that he couldn't give me a car, but he could at least give me this. The day I lost my father's one I'll never forget. We were setting up camp in a quarantine zone outside of what used to be Montana when, suddenly, an Advent ship slipped into sight, bearing straight for us. Someone must have tipped them off we were heading into a quarantine zone. The aliens, they don't like people going into those areas for some reason or another. Anyways, Dad told me to run and hide, pressing the old beaten shotgun he traded for a thing of whiskey into my arms. He said he'd be behind me in just a minute. Like an idiot, I believed him too. I made it to the tree line some 60 feet away when they touched down and came out of the ship. There was 6 of them. 4 Advent traitors to humanity. 1 pink fleshy thing that my father told me was a sectoid. And this snake thing. It was like a cobra and a person had a mutant baby. Dad, he didn't even try to run. He just sat there. Hindsight, I figure he must have wanted it to make it look like he was just giving up, giving me time to slip away. Otherwise, they would have tracked him down and likely found me as well. I watched from a safe distance as he shared words with one of the Advent. Some smug prick wearing a cape. I couldn't hear them, but when he grabbed my father by the arm, about to lead him to the ship, good old Dad pulled out a handgun and shot that asshole right in the side of the head. He tried to run, but then that snake, it was like a frog. It just lashed out with his tongue and grabbed him. Then it crushed the life out of him, constricting the life out of him, coiled until he wasn't moving any longer. I was already on the verge of tears when I saw that monster unhinge its jaws. It started to eat him. At that moment I lost it. All the anger, the rage, losing my mom, all the friends I had to abandon moving from town to town, and now watching these bastards not only kill my father but try to devour him? No, too much. I howled with rage and charged. I think my greatest advantage was surprise. The first one didn't even get a chance to draw his weapon by the time I was in his face and filled his gut with lead. The others were moving, though, unloading rounds off their guns trying to hit me. I used the body as cover, but it didn't last long, being shredded to pieces. It did provide me with enough cover to charge straight into the last two that were standing next to each other. I knocked them over with one solid motion and slammed the length of the shotgun down their windpipes at the same time, crushing them like cardboard. I heard stories about the first sectoid encountered controlled a trooper's mind, and maybe that's what I felt. It was like fingers trying to claw open my head and dig its way into my brain. I was too blinded by rage, though thought wasn't what was governing me, just pure hatred and anger. I turned around and shot the last trooper in the gut as he was charging me with some weird glowing baton thing, then blew the head clean off that sectoid, leaving a mist in its wake. Last was a snake, and it did just what I was hoping for. Lashed out its tongue, and I let it grab me. As it pulled me in, I unsheathed the sword, and with the momentum of the pull, I flung straight at the creature, sword pointed at its head. With a sound that resonated throughout my whole being, I heard the blade puncture deep into the monster's skull, felt it break inside its body. Then I gave it a twist for good measure. The body twitched and spasmed before falling over, lifeless, dead. With what remained of the sword, I gutted the snake and removed my father's body. He seemed so calm, so peaceful, despite the horrific way he passed. It was then I decided I wasn't going to run anymore. I wasn't going to hide and let these monsters continue to destroy my home, my world. This time, Earth was going to win. I was going to win. But first, I needed a new weapon. That was very well written, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, as I hope all of you out there did. Now I'm going to go over a quick short story that someone submitted, the Dark VIPs. Now, instead of giving us a character bio that's going to be on our team, he's giving us a character bio that we're going to be hunting. Alright, here we go. Frederick the News Reichleitner. He was born as a simple peasant in an obscure town in Germany. He was always interested in providing people with the latest news and went on to great lengths to uncover the truth or to bring a story to the eager masses. At the age of 21, he was already the most famous reporter in the country. He was nothing short of a rock star or royalty in that area. Every newspaper in the country wanted to publish his articles, offering extreme amounts of money to gain the exclusive rights to his articles. But that wasn't enough for the ambitious Reichleitner. A decade and numerous investments later, Reichleitner was the proud founder and owner of his own news network. And at first, things looked promising. But as time went by, he had to focus more and more on the business end of the company. He had less time to do his own research and write articles. Sales figures plummeted without his creative input, and his multimedia company faced certain bankruptcy. That's when the aliens arrived. Every newspaper and website blamed the aliens for the abductions of civilians. Only Reichleitner swept those accusations under the rug, proclaiming it to either be lies of the insane or simple XCOM propaganda. He took a big risk in doing so, but it paid off. The aliens slowly but surely took over the planet. Reichleitner increasingly became their puppet until he became the primary spokesman. They gave him the latest intel and made sure the whole world would hear about it. He fed Earth's population lie after lie, and they believed him. Soon, he bullied his way to the top of the news food chain without showing any remorse, and is now by far the most influential news provider in the world. As long as he's around, the horrible truth about the aliens' presence will remain hidden, and there will be no hope for the planet. He was once quoted in saying, "You want the news? I am the news." Frederick Reichleitner. Alright guys, if you did not hear your story in this video, don't get upset. I still have several more that I'm going through, so check out the next video and you might see it there. Or, always feel free to send me another. Thanks guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.